All right, welcome everybody. So come and sit on your mat, please. Let's scooch back to here. Just like normal, I've got something to sit on. I'm sitting on a block. You might want a blanket to hand, maybe to kneel on in today's class, maybe to cover yourself over for the end for Shavasana. I've always got a couple of bricks. There's not a couple, there's 3 there, to hand. And as I said previously, a chair is welcome but not essential. So if you don't have a handy chair, don't panic. We're not going to use it until the very end anyway. However, good. Right, I need to just move this over a little bit closer towards me so I can see you all on my little thing. Right, let's sit tonight. Let's start tonight. Before we get into doing some breathing, just come and sit with the legs out wide into a V shape, please. So if you find it a struggle at any stage sitting directly onto the floor, please elevate your seated position. So sit on a cushion, sit on a couple of cushions, a couple of blankets, whatever you have to hand. And we're going to send the heels away and have the toes up high, please. And just a little bit of activity along the back of the legs where you encourage the movement downwards into the ground through the back of the legs, please. Okay, so the legs are nice and long, the quadriceps are fairly firm, and the back of the legs are pressing downwards. Then fingertips come to the floor next to you, please. Let's breathe in and bring the arms all of the way up, reaching the hands up high. Very nice. And just hold this here, just hold it and breathe. Think about the fingertips reaching up, but also think about the backs of the legs pressing down. And again, notice how this might have engaged the pelvic floor. So maybe a little bit of lift there, maybe a little bit of drawing in of the lower abdomen, but don't force any of these movements. Just think about breathing. Lovely. So one more breath, in and out. And then as you gently breathe out the next time, lower the arms down by your sides. Leave one hand where it is. As you breathe in, reach the other arm up and over and into the fingertips. And then exhale to return that arm back. Place it on the floor next to you. Breathe in and take the other arm up and over. Make this a side bend, not a rotation. Exhale, gently return. And we're going to go side to side. So keep going, reaching into fingertips. And then coming back. Don't forget the legs. Keep the legs nice and firm. Keep that activity into the soles of the feet. And back. One more on each side, please. So inhaling, the arm comes up and over. A little bit of reach into the fingertips. Let the head go a bit. Exhale to come back. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Lovely. Okay, now breathe in again. Hands come up above your head. Link the fingers above your head and turn the palms inside out. And reach up again, pressing the backs of the legs into the floor. Heels away, toes high. Good. Lower the arms out in front of you to shoulder height and reach the palms forward so you begin to tilt the pelvis. Now, you're not losing the legs and you're not rounding the back. The back is nice and long, the heart is lifted, and the tilt is happening here in the hips. So don't force yourself to come down to the ground, just keep reaching forwards. Good. Then breathe in, bring the hands all the way back up. And exhale them out wide to the sides now, as though you're standing in a box and you're trying to press the arms or the palms against the walls of the box to hold them there, stop them moving closer together. Good job. Okay, take one hand to the floor, take the other hand up and press upwards, even longer through the sides of your body. Excellent, and come back down, place that hand on the floor, take the other palm up. So notice how I'm reaching up through the heel of the hands, straight up towards the ceiling through the arm, and then bring it back down. Nice, bring the hands behind the back of your body. Roll the shoulders back a little bit, but then bring the heads of the shoulders forwards. See if you can then lengthen the arms downwards towards the ground. Don't lose the legs, don't collapse the through the front body, but keep rolling the heads of the shoulders forwards as the hands move back. And just see whether that can release any tension in your neck, maybe the tops of the shoulders, maybe around the collarbones. Excellent. And then gently release. Good. And then what we're going to do is just some swirls here in the pelvis. So think about this area of your body moving. Don't worry about what's happening up here. Just worry about what's happening in the pelvic bowl. So think about your sit bones, whatever they're sitting on, whatever it is you're sitting on, and think about moving in a circular motion. So just gentle movements. If you want, you can imagine you're stirring a pot of something yummy. Link the fingers and reach around to the feet, to the toes. Keep the legs firm, pressing the backs of the legs into the floor. And one more. Lovely. And then when you come back to a sort of central point, go the other way. So take a few turns, coming in, reaching, coming back. Couple more. Last one. Good job. And then back. All right, lean back into your hands now. Roll the shoulders back, lift the chest, look up. Breathe. And then bring chin to your chest. Good job. Sit back upright. Ease the legs a little bit closer in towards one another. Give the feet a little bit of a shake. Excellent. And you are going to now come and sit. Okay, so sitting, maybe cross-legged or kneeling if you would rather sit that way. You can sit into a Virasana if you prefer. Sit so that you're comfortable. And if you'd rather sit back with your legs out straight, then you can go for that too, it's fine. Take a breath in. As you breathe in, reach the arms all of the way up and above your head, palms come together. And then as you breathe out, bring the hands down to rest in front of your heart. Close your eyes gently and breathe. As you breathe out, feel your shoulders dropping away from your ears. And also allow the roof of the mouth, the palate, to soften as well. Just sit and be with your breath for a moment. And just send out a little kind of thanks, a little gratitude to maybe whoever or whatever has enabled you to be here tonight. So maybe someone has helped put the kids to bed or cooked your dinner, or maybe you can just give a little bit of thanks to you, making sure that you've turned up on time. It's week 4, as we know. This is actually week 5 of these Tuesday classes. And I'm a little bit surprised at how quickly this has come, this week 4 or week 5, whatever you want to call it. And how I'm now sort of settling. I'm just starting to settle into this kind of way of life. I think coming out of it's going to be just as much of a shock as coming in. So I think in a few weeks' time, we're going to have to prepare ourselves for coming out of this lockdown. But for now, we just need to send out a little bit of gratitude because we are able to practice like this together. Our community continues. Okay. So let's just take another breath in and another breath out. Okay. Release your hands and open your eyes. Okay, good job. So we're going to look at some twists in tonight's practice. So arrange some seated twists, some standing twists, and some lying twists. And the thing that I want you to remember, the one take home, if you like, and lots of you will be familiar with this from coming to class. But this, so your pelvis and this part of your spine that's sort of below your navel likes stability. So when we twist, we don't move this area very much. From the navel kind of up to the throat, this area loves mobility. So it likes to twist, and in fact, it's very, very healthy for it to do so. And then this area of the spine, the cervicular spine, the neck, whilst it enjoys twisting, it also likes stability. So we've got stability, mobility, stability, and this is replicated throughout the body, as you'll know from other classes that I've taught you, most likely. So we're going to think about, when we twist today, keeping this area nice and stable. So that's what we're going to do first of all. So think about what you're sitting on, please. And allow your sit bones to really ground into the earth. Because remember, this is the other feature of our practice. Asana, actually, the word asana means seat. And whatever we are connected to against the earth, whether it's our hands, our feet, or our bottoms, that's our seat. That's what we are connected to. So we have to use the earth's grounding energy to then enable us to move upwards and around and away from it. So think about your sit bones staying nice and grounded and even, okay? So when we're twisting, we don't really want to come off of the sit bone. And then just take one hand to your knee and the other hand behind you, and think about turning what I'm going to call your rib basket. So I want you to move your ribs around. And then you can let your head turn a little bit as well, but never ever force the turning of the neck. Whilst there's a lot of mobility within the neck, so we need that for looking, it needs to remain with a sense of stability because of all the sensitive nerves and features of the neck and the throat. Okay, so just stay grounded through your sit bones, even through your seat, and notice that your rib cage is doing a lot of the work here. And then what I'd like you to do is take your hands off of whatever it is they're touching and just hover the arms, the hands. And now notice that how much harder you've got to work to stay, to remain in this twist. Now put your hands back on knee or on floor and see how that can afford you just a little bit more rotation. Good. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, come over to the other side. So hand to knee, other hand behind. Stay grounded on the sit bones, stable in the pelvis, mobile in the rib basket. Turn the rib basket around and notice how the shoulders can help and the arms can help, but we don't want that to be our overriding source of our twist. We want the twist to come from the center of the body. So if you think of the central point of your spine, see whether you can initiate the twist right from the middle of your body. And then again, hover the hands off of the floor or off of the knee. And just see whether you can maintain the twist in the same degree. Okay, hands come back down. See if there's a little bit more rotation without force. And then come back to the center. Good. And again, other side. This time we're going to take the hand across towards the opposite knee, other hand behind. We're going to maintain, if this is too strong or too far a reach, just keep it on the same knee as we did the first time. Okay, so sit down through the sit bones. And then this time I want you to inhale. And as you inhale, you're going to lift the spine up. And those of you familiar with Mula Bandha, with the root lock at the pelvic floor, lift the pelvic floor up. As you exhale, initiate the twist, the rotation. And keep doing this every breath that you take, breathing in and lengthening up the spine, just putting some space. And as you breathe out, increasing the twist without the force, without overdoing it. Okay, so on an inhalation, coming back to the center when you're ready. Nice. Okay, so the same thing. We do the same thing the other way. So a little bit of lift through the pelvic floor and lengthen up through the spine. And then as you exhale, taking the hands across towards the opposite knee. Again, not forcing this, but sitting evenly on your sit bones, maintaining lots of lovely length. Imagine your spine is like a big long line of light, but all you're doing is just gently turning it, gently revolving it from its central, from its base. Okay, so keep breathing in and up the spine and breathing out to deepen the twist. And then on your next inhalation, return gently back to center. Okay, so maybe you're already feeling a little bit warmer now, already getting some of the circulation. And that's one of the great features. So come over onto all fours. That is one of the superb features of twists, is that they are very energizing for the body. And we're going to talk about them in different ways. They're great for, on a Thursday morning, we do the standing twist, don't we, with the helicopter arms. And it really makes us feel quite buzzy, quite energized, because we've got all of that lovely movement going on in our bodies. Okay, so come on to all fours, please. We're going to come into downward dog. Nicely done, everyone. Tuck your toes under. Take your bottom backwards towards your heels, and then come up. So knees come up, bottom goes back, but don't work at straightening the legs, not yet. Just think about pressing the arms into the floor, the palms into the floor, and lengthening the arms and taking the hips up, the sit bones up, the tailbone up. Don't worry about the legs just yet. Just think about the space that you're putting in the sides of your torso, because in order to twist, in order to rotate, we've got to put lots of length here too, or release some of the structures that are holding the torso in its shape. Okay, then you can have a little pedal through the heels. So have a little dance of the hips from side to side, pressing the heels down, just easing yourself into your first down dog of the evening. Good. And then steady your feet, keep your knees soft, send your sit bones back and up. Nice long arms, let the chin come towards the chest. Remember the focal point, the drishti for downward dog is the navel. So you should, if you are looking to, if you like, deepen your practice, that's where your gaze should be, is that keeping, because then you're containing all of the energy within your torso. All right, so now take a breath and walk the feet about halfway up the middle of your mat. Feet about hips width apart, please. Hold the opposite elbows. We're going to stay head down for a little bit longer. So again, bring the chin towards the chest. Let the arms dangle down and sway the upper body from side to side like a rag doll. Good job. And then we will gently come back to the center and release the arms and roll ourselves slowly up to stand. Okay, come up gently, take your time. I'm just going to turn around so that you can see. I'm going to stand with my feet a little bit apart. I want you to turn your palms forwards so that your shoulders roll back, your shoulder blades can go down the back of your body. The ground, you're pressing down into the ground through the feet. You're thinking about big toe joint, baby toe joint, and the heel. And just grounding down energetically into the earth, just the same as you did through your sit bones a moment ago. And allowing the arches of the feet to gently lift. Most of you are familiar with the inner arch of the foot, but can you lift the outer arch of the foot too? So you're trying to make a little bridge with the central part of your foot. An area that likes to be very stable in between two areas that like to be mobile. Good job. Thinking about lengthening upwards through the crown of your head. And breathing. Maybe close your eyes and notice the balance between left and right sides of your body. And these standing practices, they're so vital at the moment, and it doesn't take a lot, okay? We don't have to do complicated flowing practices, really. In fact, you know, some would say that our practices should be slower, should be kinder, should be nourishing in that respect, not to take our energy away. And just a simple awareness in Tadasana can be very, very balancing for the body. So if you feel that you're all over the place, just return to this. Even better, do it outside, do it barefoot, get onto the grass, feel the earth underneath your feet. Good, okay. So then, let's breathe in and take the arms out wide. Bring the palms together above your head and look up towards your thumbs. Then the hands come down through the central line of your body, the knees bend, and you're going to come back into a forward fold, please. I'll turn around. I want you to hang the head down for a moment, lift the sit bones up, and then walk the hands slightly forwards, walk the feet slightly back, not to a full down dog, sort of like a little mini down dog. Okay, so you don't want your feet as fully far back as you would do normally in your downward dog. If you're not sure about this position, in fact, we'll try it now. I'll teach it to you now. So bring your knees down onto the floor, everybody, and untuck your toes and let your bottom drop back towards your heels. Lower your head and gently reach your palms along the mat away from you. Okay. Then on an inhalation, so this is your start point, all right? So this is how you check where your feet and your hands should be for a downward dog, for a nice gentle down dog. So if you float up to all fours now and tuck your toes, that's where your feet should be for your down dog. This is where your hands should be anatomically for you. So you're going to lift your knees, you're going to take your legs back and up, and you're gently going to lift the sit bones, press into the palms, chin towards the chest, heels lowering towards the ground, navel drawing in towards the spine. And you might find this feels different to your normal down dog. You might find that you feel a little bit further away from your hands, and that's okay, all right? Think about externally rotating your upper arm bones so that your shoulder blades wrap around the back of your body. Good. Now, from here, walk your feet a few inches towards your hands. I'm only laughing because I remember our Monday night class where inches weren't a known measurement. Okay, I guess you had to be there for that one. So you're going to press into your right palm and you're going to take your left hand to the outside of your right leg. Now, some of you will be able to lift your right heel and be able to hold onto the outside edge of your right foot instead, pressing the heel down. And then you're going to turn your body and look underneath your right arm. Keep the sit bones even, keep the inner thighs lifting up towards the ceiling. Let's see if you can find a little rotation here in the mobile part of your body. Very nice, I can see lots of faces poking out from underneath arms. So not too close to your hands, so you want to be a mini down dog, everybody. All right, so gently release. Go back to your mini down dog, so you're not in a forward fold, you're just in a shorter dog pose. And then you're either taking your right hand to the outside of your left leg, or if you can reach, you're holding onto the side of your left foot and pressing your left heel down to the ground and turning. So it doesn't matter where your hand is, but see if you can turn your torso, pressing your left palm into the floor and just enjoying putting a little bit of space across maybe the upper back, in between the shoulder blades. Good, just have a go, do what you feel comfortable with, and don't force the body. Remember, these twists come from a place where there's stability, and the stability here is in your pelvis and keeping your heels down. Okay, gently release, come back, walk the feet and the hands together, and slowly come up to stand again. Good. Okay, so if you have eaten your dinner fairly recently, I am not going to apologise to you, because as you know, you shouldn't be eating dinner or anything very, very heavy right before a yoga class. because of this, because when we've got our heads down and we're twisting, you might have that sort of like, oh, here comes my dinner. So just be mindful of that if you have eaten recently, and take your practice a little bit easier if that's the case. All right, okay. So for this next one, you might want a brick, and you can have it on its end. Now, if you haven't got one of these, the seat of a chair, maybe you're in your lounge and a chair is around, or maybe you've got a bolster that you can put your fingertips onto, or just something with a tiny little bit of height, okay? So we're going to think about doing a half forward fold, so Ardha Uttanasana. I'd like you to put your hands on your hips and bend your knees a little bit, okay? I've got my feet about hips width apart. I want you to tilt your pelvis so that your bottom starts to stick out behind you and you maintain a fairly natural curve in your lower back. Draw your navel in, okay? Let your heart lower to about the height of your hips, and then reach your arms forwards. Drop your chin towards your chest and think about the crown of your head moving towards the top of your mat. And just hold this here and breathe. And this can be a pose that you return to. So if you find the twist a bit too strong, you can always come back to taking this Ardha Uttanasana. Then you're going to take your left hand down onto the brick, or whatever you've got, and your right hand's going to go onto your sacrum. And we often put our hands here to remind us to keep this area stable. So if you think about it like a tray, like a tea tray, you want to be able to keep the cups and saucers balanced. And so the hand goes here. I want you to turn to your right, draw the navel in, create stability in the lower part of the back, and then think about your rib basket moving. And notice how much you're relying perhaps on your left hand to help you do this. So see if you can release your palm and just let your fingertips hang down towards the floor. See if you can still maintain the same rotation. Keep the navel lifted. And then maybe the right arm comes up towards the ceiling. Maybe it doesn't, maybe it stays on the back of your body. Whatever you feel comfortable with doing with your practice tonight. Okay, take another breath and gently return back to a half forward fold. You can have both hands on your brick. Left hand onto the back of your body now. Right hand stays on the brick, roughly underneath your face. And you're going to turn, so stabilize the pelvis. Keep the feet really anchored into the ground and lift up through the inner thighs, lift up through the kneecaps. Think about keeping the spine nice and long as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, turning a little bit more deeply to the left. If you want, you can lift your left arm. But what I would say is I'd take your fingers or your palm off of your support and just hang the fingertips down just for a couple of breaths so you can try to maintain the twist from the central part of your body, making the body work a little bit harder. So therefore, if you want to make it easier, you put your hands back down on the support. Good job. Take another breath in. And come back to the center as you breathe out, and slowly bend the knees and come up to stand. Good, shake it out of your legs, well done. Okay, good, everyone, I hope everyone's okay. We're going to work with a little bit of Trikonasana now, so triangle pose. So you could keep your brick if you want to. So I know some of you like to put your hands on a support for triangle pose, but just come and stand in the middle of your mat somewhere. Let's just change you, I can see, very nice. And then stepping your feet, we say about 1 meter apart, but it just should be, because you want to create lots of lovely triangle shapes. So if you are able to see yourself in your gallery, then maybe just have a look at what shape your legs are making. Take this opportunity to look at your own profile and make corrections if you can. This is the beauty of practicing in rooms which have mirrors. Okay, turn out the right toes, please. Turn in the left. Good. Arms come up to shoulder height, and you're going to reach the right fingers towards the top of your mat, and then the hand's going to come down to rest onto the shin or onto the brick if you prefer. Then when you're ready, the left hand can lift straight up towards the ceiling, and if you've got it, you can gaze upwards towards your thumb. Now, not so much of a rotation here, but a little bit more work into the hips and into the legs. So feel the ground beneath your feet, feel the outside edge of your back foot pressing into the floor, and feel the big toe on the right foot resting down. Press it down. Good job. Breathe in. As you breathe out, look down. As you breathe in, float arms back up to shoulder height. And exhale, hands to hips. Turn toes forwards. Take bricks with you if you're using them onto the other side, other end of your mat. Breathe in, arms come up. Breathe out to reach. And the hand comes down. The right arm goes up. Use your support if you want to. Use a chair if you've got it to hand. You can look up towards your thumb, but remember, just take it easy with where the gaze goes. Take it easy with where the hand goes if you need to protect the shoulder. And breathe. Good. Outside edge of the back foot pressing firmly. Big toe joint of the left foot pressing down. Nice. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, look down. As you breathe in, come back up. And lower the hands to the hips, turn the toes forwards. Okay, so we're going to keep the feet in this shape, in this position. But we're going to take them maybe just a little bit wider apart. You be your own judge of this, okay? You're going to turn your toes out now. Instead of turning them in, turn them out. And put your hands on your hips. Okay. All right, so let's bend the knees and just check out where they travel to. So have a look at your knees and think about your middle toes, second toe, third toe on each foot. And that's roughly where your knees should be pointing to. Coming up when you're ready and then coming down again. So flexing the knees and lowering the sitting bones down and then straightening the legs. Don't lock the knees when you come up to stand. Coming down again. Good. And taking cactus arms this time. So we're kind of in a goddess squat, but I want you to open your palms, open your fingers, move your elbows back, send your heart forwards, send the back of your rib cage forwards, and breathe here. Lower a bit further towards the floor if you can. Good. Okay. Now we're going to come into a little bit of a side bend. So bring one elbow or forearm onto the thigh and reach the other arm straight up towards the ceiling. Good. Breathe in and then come back to your cactus arms. Other side. Forearm down. Press the palm up as though you're trying to hold the ceiling up with your lovely strong arms, strong shoulders, strong body. And then come back up. Good. Straighten the legs, lower the arms. Stay with the legs in this position if you can. Ooh, okay, let's change the views. I can see you all. All right, so now a little bit of a twist. Bend the knees. Bring the hands so that the fingertips point down towards the floor on the inner thighs. Elbows bent. It's like you're about to start, you know, rugby game or whatever it is. Like, I wish I knew. Oscar would kill me if I'm not very good at remembering this. So I want you to press one arm into your thigh and you're going to turn to look over your shoulder. Notice the stability in your pelvis and your lower back. Try and find mobility in the thoracic spine. Breathe in and come back to center. Breathe out and turn your gaze to look over the other shoulder. Good. Come back to the center. Very nice. Now this time, turn, and if you've got the mobility, bring your hand down towards your ankle and then turn to look over your shoulder. Or option to keep the arm on or the hand on the inner thigh. Come back up, hands to inner thigh, and then slide the other hand down if you want, and turn to look over the shoulder. And then come back up and straighten the legs. And you'll be pleased to heel toe the feet a little bit closer in and give the legs a little bit of a shake. Okay, sorry, someone's just asked for something. Okay, good. So come and stand. We're going to come back into a forward fold. And this one's nice because this is a nice twist too. So remember, lots of these twists come from our stability, nice strong legs, nice strong grounding, nice strong pelvis, okay? So in our forward fold, I want you to have your feet about hips width apart, and you're going to bend your knees and just drop down into a really nice, tummy resting on the thighs, head hanging forwards, body nice and easy down into your forward fold. Okay, and then with your fingertips, turn your fingertips to point towards the back of your mat and just crawl your fingertips backwards. And you don't have to go very far, but if you let your chin fall towards your chest and your fingertips crawl back, keep your body weight into the balls of the feet as well as the heels, but just feel that lovely stretch for your shoulders happening. Very good. Now we're going to walk the hands in a little bit, and you're going to take your left hand across to the outside of your right foot. And in fact, you could take your palm down to the floor. You're then going to take your left hand up towards or your right hand, depends which way you've gone, up towards the ceiling. Okay, and breathe. And then gently come down. Notice how the legs have got a little bit straighter here. You might find that helps with the pose, but if you want to keep the knees bent, that's okay. Taking the right hand to the outside of the left leg, either left hand onto the back of the body or up towards the ceiling. Same as what we've done before in the downward dog. And keep breathing, and then walking the hands back towards the center and slowly coming back up. Okay, again, nice lot of heat being generated in your body with all this leg work that we are incorporating tonight. So now bring the feet together. So big toes together, outside edges of the feet parallel, and bring the hands together at the heart. So you're going to come into Utkatasana, into the fierce pose. So imagine you've got your thighs together, and I want you to squeeze the inner thighs nice and firmly towards one another. And then I'd like you to bend your knees, let your shins fall towards the ground, and sink your sit bones down. So you're creating a curve in the lumbar spine area. Draw the navel in as much as you can. Then reach the arms up. Now they don't have to stay together. You could separate the palms. I like to look forwards. I know that a lot of people do look up in between the palms. You be your own judge of what's going on in your neck. Keep the inner thighs square, moving towards one another, reaching up through the pinky fingers, lifting up through the heart, through the central part of the spine. Very good. Keep breathing. Then let's bring the hands to the heart. Take an inhalation here and stay in your Utkatasana legs. As you exhale, just turn to look behind you down to the end of the mat. Hands stay at the heart. Inhale back to the center. Stable legs, squeeze the inner thighs, keep the pelvis strong. Exhale, turn to look over the other shoulder, taking the heart and the rib basket with you. Come back to the center, inhale, and then exhale, stand up straight. Good. Okay, still with me, everyone all right? No one's complaining, and you're all still on your little screens, so I'm assuming you're all still okay. Good. All right, so taking it a little bit deeper into an Ardha Utkatasana. Like an Ardha Uttanasana, so Uttanasana had the legs more straight. although we did do them with a little bit of a bend in the knees. But Utkatasana is more deliberate in the knee bend. So allow your shins to fall forwards, your sit bones to sit down, and then drop the heart forwards. And just like we did before, reach the fingertips away from you. Okay, bring the hands together at your heart. Let the bottom drop even lower now, as low as you kind of can, really. And then turn to look over one shoulder, but taking the elbow to the outside of the knee if you can. If you can't, don't worry, don't force it. There is the option. Put the hand on the back of the body and just hug the outside of the thigh. Keep breathing, looking back behind you, draw the navel in, keep the stability here, find the mobility in the thoracics. Breathe. Good. Very nice. Then let's inhale back to the center. And we're going to take the other side. So take the right elbow, if you're going this way, take the right elbow to the outside of the left knee and use that to pivot you round, but try not to force it. Don't overdo it. Keep breathing. Okay. Inhale back to the center. Well done. Exhale, come to stand, release the hands, maybe give the legs a little bit of a shake. Good. Okay. So we're going to put some of this together now. So come to the top of your mat, please. Stand in mountain pose. Breathe in, bring the hands wide and above the head, look thumbs. Breathe out, bring the hands down through the center line and exhale all the way down into Uttanasana. Inhale to Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift, hands onto the shins, as most of you will remember from previous. Exhale down, let the head hang down, but keep the hands together in front of your heart, then let the bottom drop back to here, back to this Ardha Utkatasana, okay? Take your body weight into your right leg. You're going to be mean here. Lift your left foot off of the floor and step your left foot back down to the end of your mat. If you need to put your hands on the floor to do this, please do. Good. Those of you that want to can also put your left knee down onto the ground. That's fine as well. If you can keep your legs straight, go for it. Some of you will then be able to turn, keep the palms together and use that to rotate you round. See if you can find a lunging, twisting Utkatasana. Nice. Press back through the heel if the knee is lifted. If the knee is down on the ground, keep the hips slightly high so don't collapse into the hips. Okay. Breathe in, come back to the center, hands at the heart, and then with your nice sort of core strength, step your left foot forwards, and then breathe in, come up to stand. Ooh, very nice. Shake it out with your right leg. Okay, so other side, let's do this. Breathe in, arms wide, let's come up with the palms, look thumbs. Breathe out all the way down to the ground. Head hangs for Uttanasana. Ardha Uttanasana, breathe in. As you breathe out, bend the knees and take the hands to the heart. Very nice. Body weight into the left leg. As you breathe in, step back, right foot. Use your hands to stabilize if you want onto the ground. Know that you can put your right knee down. Take a breath here, stabilize the pelvis as you exhale. Right elbow to the outside of the left knee and turning the body round. Feel that nice stretch into the glutes. Keep the right heel moving backwards. Very, very good. Well done. Come back to the center, breathe in. As you breathe out, step forwards, just hang down. Breathe in, come up, hands lift all the way to the ceiling. And breathe out, hands to heart. Just close your eyes for a moment. And let the breathing even itself out. Very good. Bring the hands down by your sides and open your eyes. Good. Okay, so shake it out of your legs for just a moment. And the reward is coming because we're going to have a really lovely, delicious relaxation after working all these hard standing poses. I hope you're getting nice and warm, because there's a lot of talk about twists being good for the digestive system, good for the organs, but there's actually very little proof that that's actually what happens. There's a lot of myth written in yoga texts about the benefits of various positions, various poses. But what you can feel when you do these rotations is that something is swirling everything up. It's making stuff move around, whether it's your blood, your lymph, or just your, digestive system in general. It's never going to be an unhelpful thing. Just moving fluid through muscles as well. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of other standing poses, and both of them are the revolving versions of poses that we do quite regularly. So I want you to take your brick and have it in front of you, and we're going to work with revolving triangle. So we've already done triangle pose tonight, Trikonasana. So this is Parvati Trikonasana, and we do this with a stable pelvis. So it's quite different from the normal standing pose. So I want you to stand with your feet about hips width apart, and you're going to leave your right foot where it is and stride your left foot back. Your left toes turn out a little bit to the side, and if you feel wobbly, you can take your right foot across to the long edge of your mat. The key here is that you have to have your hips square and your hip bones facing the top of the mat, but you also have to have your left heel pressing into the ground. If your left heel can't stay down, then you've taken your foot back too far. And I'd much rather you were able to keep your stability with your feet firmly onto the ground. Now bend your right knee just a little bit, because that takes the pressure out of it when we forward fold. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, tilt the pelvis and maybe bring your hands down onto the support that you've got maybe underneath your face. So this is your start position, and you're going to work with having a straight right leg. But if this is too much for the hamstring, or you've got your back foot stepped back really far and it's too much, then please keep a softness into the right knee. It's fine. Left hand stays onto the brick. Right hand goes onto the back of your body initially. And this is there just to add a little bit of a reminder, because you're going to turn your body, turn your rib cage, but keep the pelvis level, like that T train is still on it. Right hand can come up just like it does for a normal triangle pose, and you can turn your head, but don't force the neck round. Remember, it likes the stability. So lots of mobility into the rib basket, reaching the hand up if it's all right for your shoulder. And if you've got the strength within you, you take the brick away, maybe just have your fingertips lightly on the floor or not on the floor at all, and reach up and breathe. Okay, good job, very nice. Another breath, breathe in. And as you exhale, lower the right hand, bend the right knee, hands to hips, breathe in, lift your heart. Good, step the left foot forwards, straight onto the other side, right foot back. So the body automatically wants to turn to the side, and I want you to correct that by keeping the hips facing the top end of your mat, turning the right heel out slightly, and making sure the right heel can stay on the ground throughout. Bend the left knee, hands to hip creases, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, fold forwards. Hands come down, maybe onto a brick, maybe not, maybe a cushion, something that you've got. And the right hand stays down, the left hand goes onto the back of your body. Look at your left big toe, see if it's coming off of the floor, see if you can press it down. Outside edge of the right foot here, foot behind you. So press those two areas. Keep the pelvis nice and level and turn the rib basket. See if you can maintain that nice rotation, because you've got this so much now from all the other poses that you've practiced. This has become normal. Left hand can lift up to the sky if you want. Right fingers can be light or coming off of the contact of the block, or just hovering an inch or two off of the floor. Very nice. Remember to turn your palm in the direction that you're facing if your hand is indeed lifted. Take another lovely big breath here. And as you exhale, slowly return back down and bend the front knee a little. Hands to hips. Take an inhalation, lift your heart to stand back upright and step the feet together. Good job. Give the legs a little bit of a shake. Okay, all right. Come down to sit, please. We're cracking on tonight, aren't we? Getting through. I was going to go through Parivrtti Ardha Chandrasana, but we might save that for Thursday morning. Okay, so we're going to work with Ardha Matsyendrasana, so half Lord of the Fishes pose, because there's the fish pose that we do after a shoulder stand, and then there's this fish pose, loads of fishes. Okay, so we'll talk about it as we get into it. So untuck the flesh of your bottom and sit with your legs out straight, heels away, toes high, hands down by your sides, little bit of lift to the sternum, and just find your center again. Just find a little bit of balance. Because twists can take us off center, but only if we've lost those key components of the stability from the pelvis. Really then, if we maintain our stability here, the rest of it can kind of feel natural, because there is a natural tendency for our bodies to rotate. It's what we're meant to be doing. So never be afraid of turning, never be afraid of twisting, as long as you do it carefully. Okay, bend up your right knee, take it over the top of your left leg. And it might be that you want to keep your left leg straight, or you can bring your left heel around and bring it towards your bottom. See if you can stay nice and balanced on your sit bones, and think about your right big toe joint here, and you want to keep it on the ground. Okay, so please, if it lifts off, don't worry too much, but if you can think about just moving it downwards, that would be great. Then take your left arm up to the ceiling and reach it up nice and tall. Then bring it across and find the outside of the knee. The right hand's going to come behind you, or you can hug the knee if you'd rather do that. Okay, so make sure that you are working at your own pace, keeping your sit bones grounded, and the big toe joint, the right foot, press it down. Keep turning the rib basket. Remember, think about taking your hand and your elbow or your arm off of your knee. See if you can maintain the same twist without using the arms. And then bring them back and sort of relax into it, because these asanas, these seats, there's always a blend of ability, of stability and ease. If we can't get that blend right, then we're working too hard. Okay, take another lovely breath in, and as you breathe out, return back to face the center, and just turn the other way for a moment. Okay, come back and release the legs. Give them a little bit of a shake. Good job. Okay, so let's bend in the left knee and take the foot over the top of the thigh, and then bring the right heel in if you want. If your knees are not up to it, you keep the bottom leg straight. And then just think about sitting evenly on the sit bones, which is hard to do because we've got one leg into a bit of this rotation. See if you can keep the left big toe joint on the ground. Breathe in, and we'll take the right arm up to the ceiling. So reach it up As we breathe out, bring it across. See if you can bring the elbow to the outside of the knee. Bring the left hand behind you and see if you can find a nice twisted position with the sit bones even, the stability at the pelvis, and lots of lovely mobility in the rib basket. And think about your breath here. Breathe up the spine. Breathe in and create lots of lovely length and space all the way up through the crown of your head. As you breathe out, deepen the twist. And then see if for 2 breaths you can take your hands away from the supports, elbow off the knee, hand off the floor from behind you, and maintain the rotation. Let those tiny muscles in between the vertebrae of your spine, make them work. That's their job. Good job. And then bring the hands back and knee, onto the floor. Enjoy these last couple of breaths. And then you can come back on an inhalation and turn the body around. And then come back, releasing the bottom leg, uncrossing the top, and give the legs a little bit of a shake. Okay, so in amongst all of the rotation that we've done tonight, so you can, I want you to sit with your legs out still, but I'm just turning to the side so you can see. We have done some side bending. We've done a little mini bit of back bends. We've done a lot of forward bends. So we've taken the spine through all of its range of motions, all the movements that it really likes, and we need to do regularly, need to do daily to keep it healthy. But the nice thing that we're going to end with before we come into our relaxation is a forward fold. So if you want something underneath your knees, go for it. If you want to use the strap around the feet, that's fine. I'd suggest untucking the flesh of your bottom behind you. And forward folds are one of the most natural movements for the spine. That reflection is something that we do all of the time. But it's also said to be very quietening, very calming for the nervous system, which, because we've been twisting, we've been quite stimulating of the body's systems. And so we want to just calm ourselves down now. So that's why if you want to bend the knees, go for it. If you want to put a blanket or something on your thighs to fold onto, I want you to make this a nice soft Paschimottanasana, because you're going to stay here for 10 breaths, okay? For those of you that are looking for a kind of more traditional way in, I want you to breathe in and bring the arms up towards the ceiling and reach up. And then keep that reach, that lift as you lower the hands to shoulder height, and then reach forwards. Go as far forwards as your body, your tilt of the pelvis will allow. And then the hands can come towards the feet or onto the strap or onto the lower legs. And then just soften down. Just feel as though you can kind of melt the back of the neck. But keep thinking about the crown of the head moving in the direction, the general direction of your toes. Because whilst I do want you to soften down, I do want you to enjoy this feeling of folding forwards. I do want you to maintain the length of your spine, because this is an intense stretch. It's just like the Uttanasana. Uttanasana is an intense west side stretch. The west side of the body is the back. The front is the east side, the side that faces the rising sun in the morning. So we gently breathe in and out. And every exhalation that we take, we're not forcing, we're just melting a little bit more deeply. I'm going to take 2 more breaths. And then on an inhalation, just gently, slowly coming back up, spine nice and long. Bring the arms up again, reach up. And then release the hands out behind you onto the floor. Turn the fingers so they point back in the direction of your body. And then pressing into the heel of the hands, lift the chest up. roll the shoulders back a little bit and just open the front body and just feel a little bit of your body weight into your palms. You've not really done a lot of that tonight at all. So nice break for the wrists. Keep breathing here. Good. Then look at where your knees are and move your feet to that direction, and then bend your elbows. Keep the heart lifting. Just see if you can lower yourself back. It might not be very far, but keep lifting the chest. But the elbows are bent. Good job. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, gently lift yourself up and come to sit. Okay, so we are going to come into our sort of penultimate pose. And I wanted to use the chair for this. So if you don't have a chair, but you do have a wall, then you could take your legs up the wall for Viparita Karani. If you have a chair, a bit like this one, and you have a strap, and you can use the strap even if you're in Viparita Karani. So if you haven't got a strap, your dressing gown belt will do. And you're going to loop it around your thighs. And you're going to hold, it's going to be quite tight. So if you need to tie it in a knot, you want to have it so that your thighs are bound tightly together. They're not going to come apart. And if you have something heavy, as I mentioned, that's going to come with you. So before you come into this pose, think about staying warm. If you've got a jumper you want to put on, because your body temperature might start to drop fairly quickly. And you're going to bring your bottom quite close to the chair. Remember, you could always pull the chair close to you. And you're going to bring the bottom, or sorry, bring the chair so it's right under the back of the knees. And you're going to keep the strap nice and tight so the thighs are bound quite closely together. And then if you happen to have something heavy, you're going to rest it on the top of your feet. So the sandbag is really lovely for that. But if you haven't got a sandbag, a couple of heavy, maybe put a blanket on your shins first of all, and then put your heavy thing on so that it's softer and it distributes your body weight a little bit more evenly. Okay, so come down to lie, and you might want to lie with cactus arms like we did when we were standing up. So elbows bent out to the sides at shoulder height and just hanging out here. But if this feels too strong or too much for the shoulders, then just bring the hands anywhere you want. If you've got legs up the wall, then you can do the cactus arms as well. You could maybe take the arms loosely around the top of the head. And close your eyes. If you've got something to cover your eyes with, just allow them to feel a little bit quieter, a little bit calmer as we just start to shut off some of the sensory stimulation that we've been bombarding ourselves with all day. And so it's really important, especially at night. Twists are wonderful. Twists are so good because they feel brilliant. They give us this sense of energy and of release. And you know, when we come into twists, especially at the end of the class when we're lying down, they feel really good, don't they? They feel lovely. However, all that stimulation can be a little bit overwhelming, especially when it's 8:30 in the evening. So I want you to use this pose, this opportunity to rest, just to quieten the body's systems down. And you might find that having this heaviness on the calves can be very soothing. You might find that the heaviness on the lower legs helps the back of the sacrum to anchor into the ground, so that you just feel earth. And there's lots of texts which talk about how the sacrum, our sacred bone, and it's there that we stay connected, we stay rooted to the earth.
And so whilst you're here, just think about the base of your spine. Think about this area that has worked really hard because it's maintained the stability that we needed to twist safely. And you could imagine it. Imagine the fused bones of the sacrum. Imagine that there's some string wrapped around it, and that the string is going to travel down through your mat, through the floor of the building you're in, and deep down through the foundations, past the rocks and the stones. And it's going to travel its way deep down, right into the center of the earth. When you get to the center of the earth, you notice that the string is wrapped around a crystal. And this crystal is whatever color or shape or design that you want it to be. So just bring it to mind and spend a few moments thinking about this beautiful crystal that's holding you anchored into the earth. Keeping you feeling centered and strong, gently powerful. Just notice how your breath has slowed down. And keep encouraging your body to take naturally long, slow exhalations. Now, if you like, you're very welcome to stay in whatever relaxed position you feel that you're in. If you would like to come into Shavasana, then do so now without disturbing yourself too much. So the chair is, if your legs are on the chair, then maybe just gently slide it out of the way and try to stay quiet, try to stay calm. Okay, so come into Shavasana or come into a position that you feel that you're able to relax in, and you're very welcome to stay in the position that you are in, because it is very restorative, very calming. So this is what we want. We want to feel calm. We want to restore some balance in the body. It's great to work. It's great to work hard. It's great to do things that challenge our bodies and our minds. But ultimately, when we come towards the end of the class, we want to be able to let go and to melt and relax into the combination of our practices. So find a position that you feel comfortable with being in. You stay here, letting the back of your body melt into the floor. Or if you're upright, if you're sitting, then just maintaining a natural, even seat. and a sense of freedom, so the curves of the spine remain natural. And this goes for whatever position that you are in. Allow the back body to melt. Think about the head, skin across your scalp, relaxing. Your eyes moving away from the back of your eyelids. Another way to calm the body is to calm the mind. And for some of us, meditation becomes a challenge in these times because it's really difficult to quieten the mind. So therefore, visualizations are very useful because they give us something to actively think about. So in your relaxation tonight, to help you stay quietly alert, I want you to, as much as possible, stay attentive to my voice. But please don't get upset with yourself if your mind wanders or if you feel yourself gently nodding off. If that happens, however, do wake yourself up, come up to sit so that you're not going to be up until the early hours. So tonight's visualization, all I want you to do is when I read these things out, I just want you to picture them briefly in your mind. I'm going to go through them, not too quickly, but not too slowly. Okay. So just empty your mind of thoughts, breathe in and out, and start to visualize a full moon. Perhaps easy to do. We had a lovely, beautiful, magnificent full moon last week. Now visualize a mountainous sea. A lone yacht battling for harbour. Snow-capped mountains. A cascading waterfall. A bright green field of fresh spring grass. Lambs grazing. Clumps of daffodils. A steady shower of warm spring rain. A torrential downpour. The heat rising off the earth. A perfect rainbow. A mountain path. Climbing up the mountain path. The stones beneath your feet. The sun on your back. The view from the ridge. The top of the mountain. A safe shelter. the view all around. The feeling of achievement. The feeling of strength. The freedom of the mountaintop. The communication with your own inner self. Then allow any visualization to gently fade and bring your awareness back into your body. Become aware of yourself lying on your mat and enjoy the sensation of your body being peaceful, calm and relaxed. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Turn your head from side to side. And take a stretch out any way that feels good. If you're still upside down or still on chairs, then just gently come off. Good job. And you can roll to one side and come round and up to sit when you're ready. So take your time unbinding yourself. Don't rush. Come up slow. Yeah. Oh, I love it. It's like you're waking up from a little bit of a sleep. You're just pulling yourselves back together again. Oh, the joy of practicing at home. There's nothing quite like it. I'm so loving this. Okay, so come and sit comfortably. Come and sit either cross-legged or in Virasana. Fingertips, take them down to the ground by your side. So I'll give you a couple more moments. Good. Nearly all there. Okay, so let's take a nice big breath in and scoop the arms up, bringing the palms together above your head, and then bring the energy down and let it sink into your heart. Close your eyes and bow your head forwards, and just send out that same amount of gratitude to yourself for your practice, to your body, your mind, your soul, every element of your being. And just hold yourself in this special space, this space of balance, of strength, of flexibility. All of these components going to give us an amazing amount of resilience. Whatever life throws at us, we've got what it takes to cope. We've got it because we explore it all in our yoga practices, so it becomes familiar, becomes a path we've trodden, like climbing up to the mountaintop. When you're ready, take another breath in, open your eyes, bring your hands above your head slightly, and namaste. Have a lovely rest of the evening and a very pleasant day to come tomorrow. And I will look forward to seeing you on Thursday for the next class.